Well, thank you guys for sticking around. I know that the bar is calling, so I'll try to make it quick. But this is going to be a good one. We're going to have a throwdown between songbirds and social influence. See how, which, if either, influences decisions to engage in forest conservation. So a little motivation. So this here is the eastern wood pewee. Alan could probably tell you a lot more about it than me, but it is a forest songbird. It spends our winter months down in South America, northern South America, down to Bolivia, and then it flies up to the U.S. in the spring and early summer to breed, to nest, to forage in the eastern United States. And it's one of about 40 or so songbirds that breed in the northern forest here. And you can see what's interesting about the northern forest in this part of the country is that it's mostly under private management. So all of this green here is private ownership, and the vast majority of those owners are individuals, families, and people like you and me. That's the light green. So this creates a sort of a social dilemma, right? These private forest owners are providing this public benefit, this habitat for the eastern wood pewee and a lot of other birds, along with a lot of other important ecosystem services. So how do we get these forest managers to provide these benefits? So this research is motivated by the question, are the conservation decisions of private forest managers sensitive to information about others' behavior or recognition? And I ask this because there's a lot of evidence from other domains that these can be effective and low-cost strategies to encourage behaviors that are good for society. And we also know from surveys and focus groups that land managers tend to value information from and about their peers and neighbors. But this hasn't been applied to this context, to decisions that more directly affect ecosystems and the services they provide. So I ran a field experiment to test whether we could get Vermont maple producers to engage in a songbird habitat conservation program, and to see if these social strategies, the social information influenced those decisions. And a little hint, it did, but not in the way that I expected. So the strategies that I look at are based on the fact that we're social creatures, we have social preferences, and these sorts of, this type of information can influence how we behave. So descriptive social norms provide information on the behavior of others. For example, you may, on your electricity bill, have a little column saying how your use compares to your neighbors. Or maybe in a hotel room, you'll see a sign telling you that many other guests in this hotel reuse their towels. They signal appropriate behavior, so maybe how you might conform to act the way that others are, or perhaps signal ideas of reciprocity and cooperation that others are doing their part. And then the other strategy that I look at is public recognition. So this provides information to others about one's good behavior. This works by engaging reputational concerns. People are generally motivated to maintain a positive image. And so, as I said, both of these strategies have been shown across reducing energy and water use, increasing charitable giving, a lot of different decisions to influence behavior. And they're also, this recognition strategy is one that's even being used already to entice landowners to engage in conservation. The Vermont Environmental Stewardship Program, for one, offers these recognition-based incentives. But it's not really clear whether they could or do engage, actually cause land managers to act in pro-environmental ways for conservation. So the study area is Vermont. As I said, these are perhaps the most active non-corporate forest managers in the Northeast, you might think. Vermont is the #1 producer in the country of maple syrup, and people like Eric here managed anywhere from a few to a few thousand acres of forest, all intermixed with this. This is sugar maple, and so this forest, of course, provides maple syrup, but again, as I said at the beginning, all these other benefits, right? Habitat for birds. So how can we get people like Eric to manage their forest, their sugar bush, in ways or for multiple objectives? And we have, as I said, there's evidence from other social science research that land managers value their social networks, their peers as sources of information. And then we could think with maple producers, many of whom are retailers. They may be motivated by those reputational benefits of recognition. So there's this program called the Bird Friendly Maple Project. It's a program through Audubon, Vermont, and it's voluntary. Maple producers can participate if they manage their woods in ways that create structural and species diversity or encourage that diversity. So we partnered with Audubon to see if we could get more maple producers interested in this program. And, all right. Well, then we had a sample of 967, and these were members of the Vermont Maple Sugar Makers Association, and so we sent them a mailing and randomly assigned them to receive one of 3 versions of that mailing. So one just simply explained the program, and then these other 2 were additive. So this is really kind of our control. The norms treatment says many of your fellow sugar makers are in this program. The recognition highlights recognizing the stewardship of sugar makers. A few other points in the text that emphasize and make that message salient. There's also a brief survey, and then this is our outcome measure. Would you like to receive more information about the program? Yes, it's pretty low cost, but it's tricky with land management. So that's was something that we're working with. So we're looking how many producers are checking yes, right? How many say yes across these 3 groups? And, oh no. All right. Well, if usually here there would be a graph of the results. Well, so across the 3 treatments, we had 16% interest. So 153 producers said, yeah, I'd love to know more. But that interest was not evenly distributed across the 3 treatments. Actually, the information treatment had the most interest, about 18%. The norms treatment was actually closer to 12%. So we estimated these treatment effects, using a logistic regression. And what you can see here, these are the coefficients on our treatments. You can see that for recognition, we couldn't detect a difference between the control and the recognition treatment. But for the norms treatment, we had a statistically significant and negative effect, as I said, for being in that norms treatment. And what that means is that providing information about the participation of other maple producers in this program actually reduced the odds of asking for information by about 40% compared to information alone. So I was super surprised, I'll say. And I have some ideas on why that I'd be happy to chat about over a beer. But just a quick summary. So we found that first there's demand for these types of conservation programs from maple producers. We got 153 who said they'd like to know more, and then over 30 have actually followed up and scheduled enrollment appointments. We see the interest in conservation is in fact sensitive to this non-environmental, non-monetary information, not in the direction we expected, but it can make a difference. Also, the social influence can backfire, right? So it's not a one-size-fits-all. I think that's obvious, but it's important in this field of behavioral science where we're looking for these easy strategies to plug in and change behavior. Psychologists have been saying context matters for years, but just more evidence for that. And then, as I said, in terms of the interpretation of the result, I'd love to hear what you guys think and chat about it. So, great, thanks. the reason that we have birds in this study is because this program was an opportunity to enroll, to reach out to forest managers and have like an applied, this is something that exists and would actually benefit from this research. So it's a little bit opportunistic, but it also matters as these birds nest in this forest that is privately managed. So, yeah, good question. Yeah.
Did you gather any data on their willingness to learn more about it and the acreage that they manage?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, totally. So that's not in here, but we did that survey. We collected some information on size, on their reasons for sugaring, and their tenure. So we have that data. It's a little bit, it's biased because we mostly got responses from people who wanted to learn more about the program. But still, there's not a lot out there about maple producers, and it seems to be growing so as an industry. So I think it will be useful information, hopefully. Yeah.
You mentioned that bias. I'm wondering what your response rate was for the survey.
Overall, yeah, it was about 18%. Yeah. The no, so we got maybe about 20 no's out of 173 or 7 responses, and they were more in the norms category than the other two. It's not significant, but interesting. Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Did it say in the original card, did it say anything about whether or not bird-friendly management would influence their yield?
Yes, great question. Right, because this is a costly behavior. This is one of my interpretations too, is that this is not like reusing your towel. Like, this is a big decision for a maple producer. So yes, we had some language about the benefits of having diversity in your forest, like long-term resilience and long-term yields. Kind of Tony D'Amato signed off on it. So yeah. Yes, Emma.
Did Audubon do this program in Vermont before your research, or what was their outreach like prior to you setting this going up?
Yeah, so they've had this program for about 4 years, and they have 27 producers involved right now, and usually enroll about 5 to 10. So my partner was definitely a little overwhelmed when I told him these results. Speaking of, big thanks to Steve Hagenbuck at Audubon. He's been really awesome to work with on this project. So, yeah. So, and that's what's really cool about this. I mean, I think there are some good scientific insights about behavior and conservation and maple production and management in Vermont, but we also created these real impacts potentially for the forest ecosystem. Yeah.
Throw a hypothesis.
Yeah, sure. Oh, throw one out?
That unexpected result.
Yeah. Gosh, I've been thinking about it a lot. So one is that, land, as I said, your decisions to manage your land are costly and also maybe connected to identity. And so, by saying, and this identity in rural Vermont is on average maybe independent, self-reliant, maybe a little libertarian, and so this peer pressure, keep up with the Joneses message really didn't resonate with that demographic. That's the thought. I don't know. Anyone have any ideas? Yeah, love it.
If people are already doing it, then it's less urgent for you to do it.
Yeah, I've thought about that too, yeah.
People are like taking care of it.
Right.
Like, nobody's doing it, oh my god, the birds are gonna
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, a little free riding. Typical. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.